So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 377, and let's just say that we get a very good surprise in this chapter from both the villains and the heroes, and we'll get to what that surprise is, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and here are the spoilers that I'm going to be covering for My Hero Academia, Chapter 377, titled The Chain of Events That Led Up to Where We Are Now. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting chapter. Once again, it's a very short chapter because most likely of Horikoshi's health at the moment and also the holiday seasons. Also, this is coming out a little bit earlier than I thought it was, which means that next week or the week after that, we probably won't have a chapter, but that's fine. Because we're going to be going over what's in the spoilers for this week, because this is some very juicy spoilers, because we're going to be getting more into what's going to be happening with the villains and potentially the return of a potential villain themselves, and you'll see who I'm talking about. So let's dive into the spoilers and see what's going on. So the chapter begins by showing a cherry blossoms, while a narration says that the heroes are in a bad place and the villains are striking back. But now the winds blow violently. At the moment, someone reaches out their hand towards the cherry trees. And this is very much symbolism for like new birth or rebirth or coming back or just springtime, like rejuvenation. So there's symbolism here, and we'll get into that symbolism a little bit more. But going into the next line of the text spoilers, we cut back to the present and we see a portal opening up at UA. Aizawa notices Mike there and understands what that means. Soon afterwards, a twice clone also appears through the portal and starts multiplying and attacking Aizawa, Manuel, and Monoma. That causes Monoma to stop looking at Shigi All For One for a second, and then a huge explosion happens. The power poles are destroyed and the arena starts to fall. They are no longer able to stay in the air. Mandalay reports on the situation with her quirk, and Skeptic keeps hacking. So a lot is happening in this chapter. We see that not only was the twice clones that Toga created sent to Gunga Mountain, but potentially wherever the portals opened up that would allow for them to go through. That means that they could be at all of the different battlegrounds at once, which is terrifying, or they could just be at these two battlegrounds. We just don't know. But what we do know is the fact that Monoma was eventually able to blink, which allowed for Shigaraki or Shigaraki All For One to actually begin to use his quirks, which is going to be destroying the UA Flying Fortress, which means that potentially everyone is now in danger. Even though technically the fortress itself was made specifically to counter his quirk, which it still could potentially do, but maybe not as effectively. So yeah, we can talk all about that as we can in a separate video, but let's get more into the spoilers as we get this next line, which is that it is then that Shigaraki, using the ore pronoun, asks why Midoriya wants to know if he was still there. Did he want to have a chat at the mall? It's useless, hero. After all, I am your villain. Midoriya notes that Shigaraki's personality has returned. So, here's something that kind does make sense. Tomoe Shigaraki, as in his main core personality of his own, is back. And we know this from the fact that Ore is a thing. So this means that the person that Deku was talking to is most likely a combination of All For One and Tomoe Shigaraki with a new personality, but now we know that the Tomoe personality is back in action, and this reference is him referencing their first conversation that they had at the mall. So it's cool to see that there's going to be a little bit more confrontation between like Tomoe Shigaraki pure versus Deku, and that this is going to hopefully lead to what Deku really wants to do with Tomoe in this moment. But now, let's continue on with the rest of the text spoilers, as we have the next line of text spoilers saying that Skeptic has taken over the UA system and the underground shelters. He laughs and says that everything is in his hands. Deku is tired and says that this is the effect of gear shift on his body. If he doesn't let his cells rest, he won't be able to breathe. But the second user says that he cannot stop yet. One for All and All for One are connected, and he sees that their inner All for One is unable to freely control Shigaraki's body. Deku needs to take this chance and move. All the events leading up to this moment will be key to victory. And so for him here, we get a little bit more confirmation and a little bit more like views of what has happened in the story so far. Skeptic is once again confirmed to be taking over the UA barrier. We also get some new information about how gear shift works and how if Deku uses it for too long, it will eventually cause him to stop breathing or he won't be able to breathe, which is a very major consequence of using this quirk, I will have to say for myself. As well as we have the second user pretty much telling Deku that he needs to finish this fight ASAP before anything goes wrong, because this is the road that they have been taking for victory. So there's a fair amount that we can really talk about in this chapter, but let's go towards the end of this chapter where we get a major reveal incoming. Because the final lines of the text spoilers say that Skeptic continues hacking, but suddenly a silhouette appears on one of his computers saying, "Found you." The voice says that it is very difficult to find where he was, but they are not the least bit mad about it. After all, it's all for Gentle's sake. It is then that we see La Brava is standing next to Tsukachi hacking Skeptic. End of chapter. This is great. This is great. I like this. Just the ending of this chapter makes this entire chapter worth it because La Brava is back. And if La Brava is back, that means Gentle Criminal is back. So we're going to most likely see him next chapter. Will he be fighting in the war? I don't really care. I just want to see him back, as well as La Brava, because I just love their interaction. So yeah, what we thought was going to be happening with Skeptic is happening. La Brava is hacking his systems and preventing him from doing any more harm or any more damage, which means that communications can be reestablished all around Japan, which is meaning that we're going to most likely use this chance to look at the different facilities most likely and see what's going on at the other battle sites. But yeah, that's all we really have for the spoilers for this week. Once again, this was a fairly shorter chapter, but there still was a lot that we really needed to talk about in this chapter, and I can't wait to do a more proper review of this chapter whenever it comes out. I cannot say for certain when this chapter will be released. It could be sometime this week, most likely, but I cannot say for certain, but you're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, like I said, this is all I really have to say about the chapter spoilers. What did you think of the chapter? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What do you think is going to be going on with La Brava? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified for whenever I upload more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!